Public folders, again, got a lot of attention, and one of the things that really got improved was the ability to control public folder referrals. Now, we've already looked at the interface that public folders receive, and keep in mind the reason public folders got so much attention. These are the basis for the collaborative aspects of Exchange, and Microsoft keeps touting these advantages quite a bit in their marketing material, and a lot of companies use these and get a lot of mileage out of them. So Microsoft's had a lot of requests to improve the control of the replication and referrals and so forth that happens. Now, we talked about replication earlier in the video. What I want to do now is I've saved referral for here because I knew we were going to talk about an improvement here. Well, let's create a little example here. When a user connects to a public folder, let's say that I've got 2 domains. Well, let's say I've got 3 domains. And I've got an Exchange server with the public folder in each domain. And when a user, I'll put a little user right here, when this user looks at a public folder tree and says, okay, I want the content of that. Okay, they double click on a folder and the content's not there. Well, in the past, let's assume that this is a routing group around this domain, and this is a routing group, and this user's in a routing group. When the user clicks on a public folder to see the contents, and the contents are not physically there, all they're looking at is the tree, the contents are actually on another server somewhere. Then the referral process starts. Now what happens is that request is automatically redirected to another store that has a copy of the content. In previous versions, this was called Affinity in 5.5, very similar. And in 2000, this was called Referrals. All I could do in 2000 was to say, okay, I tell you what, go to this routing group first and look, and then go to this routing group second and look. I could choose which routing group I wanted to go to, but I couldn't choose anything farther than that. What I can actually do now is, if there are multiple servers, and they're probably so that it can always look for the least expensive server if you want to go to. That's a picture of what happened. In 2000, we could specify routing groups for referrals, and now we've got specific servers and we can set costs. Now let's go out to the System Manager and take a look at this. Okay, here we are in the Exchange System Manager. Notice if I go into my administrative group, into my servers, and if I right-click the server, go to Properties, notice there's a tab, Public Folder Referrals. I'm not going to see any here because I have only one server on the network at the time, but notice my public referral options, I can use routing groups. So if I just want to kick it out to routing groups, I can do so. And I don't have any routing groups set up, so I don't see anything here. But notice I can say use custom list. And with custom list, notice if I click add, I can now select other servers. Now after I've added those servers, I can come back, choose the server, click modify, and change the cost. So this is a great way to control what's happening with some of my public folder traffic. So keep in mind now, I've got a couple of choices. I can either replicate the folders and put a replica across the network and have that user hit the local replica and replicate changes back and forth between replicas, or this is a much better option in a lot of places. I can actually control my referral traffic to particular individual servers, and this saves me having to have all this replication move back and forth across the network. This can be a lot more efficient. So keep this in mind as you design your public folder structure.